Hello everyone, Darcinovi here. This is my DC comic book throwdown, which I'm going to talk about some more DC books and just rank which ones I love and which ones I don't. The first one of these is Red Hood and the Outlaws, the one shot and the actual comic series. The one shot I felt was really good for a new reader. I mean, I've always felt that Jason Todd was an interesting character. His introduction for me was the Death in the Family storyline and the Red Hood under the Red Hood movie. And this was a good way to actually tell you the origin of Red Hood without actually having to read all that material. It does it really well. It helps new readers get up to speed, which is something that it should do when they actually rebrand it. So DC Rebirth is doing an amazing job. It's hitting home runs, and unlike Marvel, isn't doing shit for political correctness. So yes, I'm really enjoying this. And the issue one, well, I loved it, actually. I think this is a really good comic so far. I mean, I've always wanted to read about Jason Todd and his own solo series, and the very fact that they're finally there has been one already. I can't comment on that series in the New 52. If you've read it, for those of you who are watching this video, comment below. How's Red Hood and the Outlaws? Should I read it in the New 52, or should I just stick to Rebirth? I really love this comic. I really do. The artwork is amazing, and I really, I enjoy the writing is really good too. I cannot wait to read more. Red Hood's probably my favorite of all of these. That I've read here. A lot, yes. Actually, it would be my second favorite. Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns, issue 2. This was a really good issue. The artwork is really good. The Green Lantern titles, I think, has some of the best, if you want, in my opinion, in terms of artwork. I think this was a really good issue. I can't wait to read issue 3. Celestro is a really cool villain. I cannot wait to read more. Yeah, I'm really liking Hal Jordan and the Lanterns. Actually, the Green Lantern titles are actually some of my favorites in this. In case you haven't noticed, I'm trying out every DC title that's being released, at least in Rebirth. I'll save that one for later because I like to talk about that more in depth. Superman, Action Comics 961. This another really good issue. It's keeping me on the edge of my seat. I'm looking forward to see how the story unfolds with, because you have another Clark Kent, but he's not really Superman. Why is that is? I'm really looking forward to see how this story unfolds. And I never thought I would say I enjoy a Superman comic. I really do. I would like to check out his older, comics. Batgirl, which this is a really good comic, though there's another one involving Barbara Gordon, which this takes place before that comic because the events of this basically tells you the origin of Barbara and what she went through. It even mentions the Killing Joke in here. I'm looking forward to reading more. I mean, I always thought Barbara Gordon was a badass, and I've always wanted to read more about her. For those of you who actually know anything about Batgirl, what are good stories of this character in there? I'd really like to know. Superwoman, I thought it was interesting. I will say that. I mean, this isn't the lowest from from the universe that we all know. This is the lowest from the New 52 universe. I can't really comment. I mean, I think it has an interesting premise. I'm looking forward to reading more. I mean, I like it. Probably one of the few that do. So let's see. Let's give it a few issues and see how it turns out. Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. This is another really good comic. This is one of my favorites. It really is. I mean, I'm looking forward to reading more in this series. Honestly. And that's just one thing I think Rebirth is doing right now. I feel like there hasn't really been a bad title. Well, the closest thing I could get to that. Well, I'll get to that when I actually review it. It's pretty good. I highly recommend you pick this up. I really do. Birds of the Prey. I think it's a good Barbara Gordon story, and I'm looking forward to reading more about the other 3 characters that are featured in here. Sorry, I'm a casual DC person right now, so I don't know every one of these characters by name. Just ones I'm the most familiar with. Nightwing. I love this, actually. I never read the New 52 Nightwing titles. Actually, none of these I've read the New 52. I really enjoyed these issues, actually. I really did. I thought they were really, entertaining, and I felt like this is restored. I don't know if those who know anything about Dick Grayson, you know more than I, but it's showcasing the difference between him and Bruce Wayne. And I actually think that Dick Grayson is a badass. It's unfortunate that he's never been represented well on the big screen, honestly. This is actually the return of Nightwing, as a lot of you veterans would know, because in the New 52, he wore red, which to me looks terrible on the Nightwing suit. Blue just looks so much better, blue and black. It just doesn't fit Dick Grayson's personality. So it's nice they brought the classic colors back, and I'm looking forward to reading this. This is one of my favorite titles in the Batman. This and the Outlaws are my favorite Batman. Though I don't know if you could consider Red Hood and the Outlaws Batman, because you have characters from other comics in there too. Titans issue 1. I really enjoyed this. If you're a fan of Wily West, the pre-Flashpoint version of the character, this is a comic series you should pick up. Of course, you should pick up the one-shot. This pretty much is explain what happened and how everything is the way it is, and how everyone's memories are not what they should be. And at the end, something gets revealed that the musician is the reason Wily West disappeared. I'm looking forward to reading issue 2. The artwork is really good, which is something very consistent. Of course, there's some series I think it's not as good as others. Then we have my least favorite comics. I know a lot of Batman fans are going to get offended, but of course I think even some Batman fans can agree. I'm not digging this series. I really am not digging this solo Batman series. I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to create new characters. Gotham Girl and Gotham, I do feel like they're just a Batman equivalent of Superman and Supergirl. And I feel like they feel like throwaway characters that they're just going to throw away and no one's going to actually remember them. It's just, in my opinion, the Batman comics, at least these ones, are kind of forgettable. The artwork is alright, it's just I don't find it that interesting. Honestly. In my opinion, it's the worst Batman title that's currently being published in DC Rebirth. So I don't really care for it. If it doesn't improve by issues 5 or 6, I'm done with this series, because I'm not gonna. This isn't cheap buying all of these. So unless it's worth my time and money, I'm not going to freaking bother with these. Detective Comics, really good. Jeez, I can't believe we're 936 and 37. This story arc is getting really interesting. Kate, you learn a twist at the end of this issue that it's, spoiler, it's her father that's doing this. That is the reason why they're after Batman, and it's a very interesting storyline. I really like this. I know some people criticize that Batman has too many sidekicks, but I really like this comic. Honestly, I feel like it's what the main Batman title should be. It feels the most like Batman. And the storyline's really good. I'm looking forward to reading more. But is it still as good as a certain Batman comic? Well, we'll talk about that one last. Because to be honest, it's my favorite of all of these. As they say, save the best for last. Justice League issue 1 and issue 2. I know there's some people that don't like Justice League, but I really like these. Yes, the artwork may not be as good as some of the other titles, but I felt the story is really good. This is basically the Justice League trying to trust the pre-Flashpoint Superman, and it's hard for them to work together, especially Batman with a different Superman, because he's not the Superman that they know. And I felt like this is a good way to basically. Oh shit. Sorry about that. This is a good way to actually get them to work together with the Superman they're not familiar with. And I feel like it's very entertaining. I think seeing a bunch of characters in various different comics of various different tones interacting with each other is a treat. So this was pretty awesome. I really love Justice League. Green Lanterns, my God, another title that I really love. I'm really liking when the series is going. I really am. This is the Green Lantern series focused on Simon and Jessica. I really like this series, honestly. I think the artwork is pretty good. And is it me or the Green Lantern is one that is probably one of the best in terms of its artwork? I mean, it's freaking great. I think the storyline's really good, and so the Red Lanterns I think are interesting villains. I haven't read them and know anything about the Red Lanterns. I know a basic thing about them, and I find them to be interesting. I'm considered checking out their solo series in the New 52 sometime when I have extra cash. So yes, I really love these. I can't wait to read issue 5. Superman, which is another comic, which I think these are really good as well. Superman's is I really love the interaction between Superman and his son John in his story arc. I'm really liking where it's heading. Honestly, Superman hasn't really had a bad book in the new the rebirth. Unlike Batman has his main series is mediocre. Well, I think this is great, far better than Batman's comic. And I cannot wait to read the conclusion to this arc. I know this takes place after the Action Comics story arc that's going on, but I think it's really good. I'd read Superman. Oh, I forgot to talk about this one. If you know my thoughts on issue 2, you know my thoughts on issue 1. Jesus, this was disorganized. Harley Quinn is another. I really like this title. I really did. I know the way she looks here more resembles what she looks like in the movie. It doesn't bother me, honestly. I mean, characters' designs kind of have to be updated. As long as the characters are still recognizable, that's all that matters to me. I don't believe that, it's a big deal like they do in Marvel where they alter a character's, to the point where they're not even recognizable. They're the character name only, or change their sexuality. I felt this was a pretty entertaining comic. I'm looking forward to reading issue 2. Issue 3 is probably already out. I don't know. No, it could be issue 2. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Harley Quinn issue 2. Actually, I'll pick that up this week. And my favorite comic in the DC Rebirth is Batman. Is All-Star Batman. This comic I think was pretty good. It's longer than the normal comics, and the price is actually higher. I think it was really good. Actually, I think the plot is really interesting. I don't know what's going on really completely at the moment because it's still at its early stages. But I feel like All-Star Batman I think it's really fucking awesome. This comic, this is probably my favorite title out so far. It's just the tone is like it is dark and gritty, just like how I like my Batman. The art is great. It's gritty, just like I want to see in my Batman comics. This comic is great. If you're a Batman fan, I highly recommend it. I know Jeremy doesn't like the person who's doing this series. I guess I can't say. I haven't read what he's done before this, but it's really good. DC Universe, they're doing a really good job with their titles. This is my favorite of all of them. Sorry, I'm not up to date with all of these. I have things I have to do. I'm trying to conserve these comics, considering I had 2 weeks with these, and I don't want to read them all and have nothing to read. So this is my comic book throwdown, even though there may be a fuck up probably here and there, but that's okay. This isn't really a review. I'm considering actually doing a full review of these comics once the story arcs of these are actually finished, because I don't feel like there's enough material for me to actually do a 10-minute video or 15-minute video talking about what I think of this story arc. Because honestly, that's how I like to structure my reviews. Even though it seem like I'm copying Jeremy, by doing this, I could at least give you my thoughts on these comics as they come out. And eventually, when the arc is finished, I can do probably a long video, but basically discussing these based on their arcs and what I thought of this arc. Was it good? Was it bad? Should you bother checking out this comic? That's basically how I'm going to do this if I'm going to do a full review of just these comics alone. Of course, I'll start Batman. I probably can do a review of this. There's enough material for me to do a whole video on it. But to be honest, other people have already done it. So this is Darcenovia, over and out. If you're looking to check out these comics, I highly recommend it. If you want to get into DC, it's a perfect time to do so. Or some of you are already doing it. So some of you may want to know what I think. Darcenovia, over and out, and see you guys next time.